Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be going over the top 5 premium tanks for beginners in War Thunder. There are a ton of premium tanks in War Thunder, and in order to make this list, I chose from all of the 4.0 BR and below tanks that you can purchase with Golden Eagles. So no purely pack or marketplace vehicles are on this list. Not that it would make any difference. Through the dozens upon dozens of vehicles that I could choose from, I picked the 5 best tanks below 4.0 BR that are both beginner friendly and very powerful. I also made sure that they are relatively inexpensive as well. That said, I come up with tons of guides, tips and tricks videos, and so forth, so please subscribe as that would mean the world to me. Also, I've linked my beginner's guide for War Thunder down below in the pinned comment, as well as my top 10 tips and tricks for tanks. Check them out. That said, let's get into the video. So for the number 5 vehicle on this list, the AMX 13 M24. I'm starting this list off with the AMX 13 M24, and before I continue, I'll just say that numbers 3 through 5 on this list are pretty much interchangeable, depending on playstyle preference. Initially, I was thinking about putting a different vehicle on this spot in the list, such as the M4 Hybrid, but I felt that not only is it essentially just an M4 but for the Italians, but it's not really all too unique or, more importantly, powerful. The AMX 13 M24 is both of those things, and at a very favorable BR. For the low cost of 1150 GE, or around $7.60 USD, you can have a vehicle that is largely superior to both the AMX 13 and the M24, being that it essentially takes their individual strengths and only few of their weaknesses, all at the low BR of 3.3. It does unfortunately lack the stabilizer that the M24 carries, and has the slightly lesser armor of the AMX 13 hull, but it keeps the top-mounted HMG and mantlet-mounted LMG of the M24, making it quite effective against unarmored opponents and planes. It also has a higher turret traverse than the standard M24, all while carrying the superior M6 cannon from the M24 over the SA-49 cannon of the AMX 13. In all, this is a 3.7 BR vehicle at 3.3 BR, and functions great as a light tank. It will get plenty of kills, as it has a fairly powerful cannon at 3.3 BR with over 100mm of armor pen combined with explosive filler and its best shells. Additionally, it has scouting capabilities, which makes it extremely useful in getting assists and spotting for your team. The AMX 13 M24 is a great mix and match vehicle that allows you to experience a good mix of French and American design, all while being at a very favorable BR. Being that the AMX 13 and M24 are both a 3.7, whereas this sits at a cool 3.3. This is easily one of the most cost-effective vehicles in the entirety of War Thunder. For number 4, the Chi-Nu 2. Of all of the tanks on this list, the Chi-Nu 2 is probably the most difficult to use, but it also has arguably the highest ceiling. This is in large part due to its incredibly powerful 75mm cannon that has about 150mm of armor pen and explosive filler in its APHE shells, all at a measly 4.0 BR. The downside to this is that the armor on this vehicle is lacking, being substantially worse than nearly all of its similar BR peers from other nations. Its armor is what one could expect from a 2.7 BR vehicle, not a 4.0 vehicle. If you can protect yourself, however, this is possibly the most powerful of all the vehicles on this list, as the cannon on this is more befitting of a 5.3 BR vehicle than at a vehicle at 4.0 BR. For just 1600 GE, or around $10 USD equivalent, you can purchase the Chi-Nu 2 and absolutely dominate enemies. Additionally, the Chi-Nu 2 is a tier 3 vehicle, which makes it eligible for most event and battle pass tasks. It also has the best silver line and RP multipliers of all the vehicles in this list, so it makes for an even better grinder than the other listed tanks, even if just slightly. This additional ability to grind will help you tremendously in getting out of the lowest portions of the Japanese tech tree. For number 3, the M4A5 Ram 2. The Ram 2 is an incredibly potent premium with great frontal armor, an amazing reload, a good turret traverse rate, good acceleration, smoke that trails behind your vehicle to cover for your allies, and high armor pen of up to 122mm for its BR of just 3.7, all for the small cost of 1150 GE, or around $7.60 USD worth of Golden Eagles. The Ram 2 is based on the M3 Lee chassis and has similar mobility. The main differences are the Ram 2 has an incredibly effective frontal armor layout, a high-pen, fast-firing main cannon, and a total of 3 LMGs. These features make the Ram 2 an incredibly potent and versatile tank, as it can pierce through the armor of basically every single tank that it will face with ease and at a range, all while taking tons of hits with little if any damage to your tank. Further, the 3 LMGs can be incredibly useful against open-top vehicles such as German tank destroyers, SPAA, and will be great to destroy enemy aircraft. While these LMGs do not pack the same punch of an HMG, such as the 50 cal M2 on most American tanks, having the 3 LMGs makes it so that the Ram 2 will be more likely to hit any aircraft, which directly translates to kills and assists. Heck, I personally prefer the Ram 2 over the equivalent BR M4 Shermans due to the Ram's aforementioned strengths. Either way, the Ram 2 is incredibly overlooked, and I would recommend this vehicle for just about everyone in game, especially beginners, as it can take damage and deal damage with no issues. Even better is that this vehicle is one of the most common vehicles to receive a coupon discount for or to appear in the Warbond shop. Definitely pick this thing up if you have the means. In the number 2 spot on this list, we have the T-34 747R. This vehicle costs 2,460 GE, which is the equivalent of about $16.50 USD, making it the most expensive vehicle on this list. To make up for this, the German T-34 is a powerhouse, featuring the heaviest armor of all the T-34s in-game outside of the T-34E, and even still, it's not too far off. It has a potent cannon with penetration of around 94mm max if using the explosive-filled MD8 fuse shell, and up to 125mm if using APCR. This makes it so that you should be able to pen and one-shot most enemies if you use the MD8 shell correctly. In addition to the listed armor values, it features 20mm thick tracks that go along a large portion of the sides of its hull, making it effectively 65mm thick in some areas, which will prove vital to your protection, as many enemies at 4.0 BR will not know your weak spots all too well, and so they might be more likely to hit the spots with the tracks. On top of this, it has good mobility, a good armor profile in terms of sloped armor, decent to good turret traverse, and it's German, meaning that the country with the best cannons to use against the T-34, such as the German 75mm cannons on the PZ-4s, will not be used against the German T-34 because, well, they're on the same team, at least when it comes to RB and Sim. And before we get to number 1 on the list, I have some honorable mentions, and these are in no particular order. First, we have the M4 Hybrid in the Italian tech tree. This is a normal vehicle, but it's an excellent vehicle as most Shermans are, and if you play it correctly, you can easily see yourself getting 3, 4, or even 5 kills per match, especially when in a down tier. Second, we have the Celeri Sahariano. This is also an Italian tank. It is a lower BR tank and also doesn't cost all too much insofar as GE is concerned. However, it is a nice scout tank and is really fun to play and is also quite potent. And third, we have the Panzer Befehlswagen 4J. Unlike most of the other vehicles in this list, this is a rank 3 vehicle, which would help with events, especially if you have literally no other rank 3 vehicle to use. The same goes for the Panzer 4G in the Italian tech tree, although I would argue that at 3.7 BR, the Italian Panzer 4G is better than the Befehlswagen Panzer 4 in the German tech tree. And now finally, for number 1, the B1 Terre in the French tech tree. The B1 Terre is far and away the best premium beginner's tank in War Thunder. It has it all: a low BR, an incredibly fun playstyle, it's incredibly forgiving to use, has a ton of armor, and is a great way to learn how to use numerous types of cannons in battle, being that it essentially has 2 main cannons, a 47mm cannon mounted on top in a fully rotating turret, and a 75mm cannon mounted in the hull. Not only this, but it is incredibly inexpensive, especially considering that what you get, sitting at only 1,300 GE, which is basically the equivalent of $8 or $9 USD. This one is also unique in that it can be purchased as part of a pack as well, being that it is in the French beginners pack. I would highly recommend that you purchase the beginners pack rather than spend the GE on this vehicle, as you will not only receive the B1 Terre, but you'll also receive the P40 F5 Lafayette fighter, 120,000 Silver Lions, skins, and a week of premium time. This pack only costs $9.99 USD and is on sale quite often, which means that you can oftentimes buy the best beginner's tank in-game, plus a good premium fighter that can also act as close air support, and a ton of silver lions plus premium time for only about $5. For my money, there is no better deal than that in War Thunder. Even at $9.99 USD, it's a steal. Same with the 1300 Golden Eagle cost for the B1 Tear alone, if you decide to buy it like that. Either way, the Tear is an incredible beast and is nearly impossible to beat from the front, especially in a down tier. The Tear is entirely an upgrade on the B1 BIS as it features much better armor, a better engine which leads to a higher top speed and better acceleration, a substantially better turret traverse amount for the 75mm cannon in the hull, 12 degrees on the Tear compared to around 1 or 2 for the BIS, an additional crew member which means more survivability, and it has smaller weak spots, all at the low BR of just 2.3, which is the same as the regular tech tree B1 BIS, which itself is already difficult to defeat. Heck, it also features a cannon stabilizer that works at low speeds. The Tear is virtually invulnerable in a down tier unless facing crafty Swedish tanks. You will routinely see yourself at the top of the leaderboards with this tank and will get an easy 3 to 5 kills per match, with many more assists. The B1 Tear is easily the best beginner's tank in game, and for my money, maybe the most powerful tank relative to BR in all of War Thunder. That all said though, thanks so much for watching everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content, especially for things like this and guides for how to dominate players in War Thunder. Either way, I'll see you all on the other side. Thanks again for watching, and take care everyone.